Hello and welcome. Today we are going to focus on a spring flow. Vinyasa flow just naturally lends itself so well to the springtime. This is when we're coming out of that kind of state of hibernation. We're going to start coming to more like the more vigorous styles of yoga, get the blood pumping and flowing. We've all probably packed on a few pounds over the winter, which is just a natural part of the body, that ebb and flow as we move through the seasons. So we're ready to get a little more active, ready to get that breath flowing. So things that we're really going to focus on are going to be, we're going to be coming into like some side stretches. The side of the legs, if you go through like a Chinese medicine perspective, we're looking at the meridians that are on the inside and the outside of the leg. And those are for the liver and the gallbladder. And those are the things that we want to stimulate this time of year. So we're going to be doing a lot of focus on the legs, but also we're going to be doing a fair amount of twists. So again, we're coming into the organs. We're setting ourselves up for this cleansing process as we shift through the seasons. So it's going to be not a super vigorous practice, but enough that we're going to get the blood pumping a little, maybe breathing a little bit hard, depending upon where you're at in your practice. But as always, honoring your body, not pushing past where you're comfortable, and allowing yourself to come into this transition naturally. Picture yourself like a grizzly bear coming out of hibernation. Slow and steady. You've got the energy. You can be a bit more active, but it might take a little bit of doing to make that transition. The other thing we're going to work on is for our breath practice this morning, we're going to be doing a little nadi shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. And what this is hoping to do is kind of link the hemispheres of the brain. When we look at, the yin and the yang, the masculine, the feminine, Shiva, the Shakti, however you like to present it, they're the warming and the cooling side of the body. So we want to use this alternate nostril breath as a way to really balance out the body. So let's take a moment and settle in before we get moving. Pardon me. So finding that comfortable position, someplace that's going to allow you to relax, and letting your eyes close when that feels natural, and just actively releasing your weight towards the mat. Allowing ourselves this time to become more centered and grounded. Take a moment to be with your breath. As you inhale, start to expand your awareness outward with the breath. And as you exhale, allow that to settle you just a little deeper towards the mat. Let your shoulders melt away from your ears. And on your next inhale, really send your senses outward, allowing yourself these first few moments of our class just to notice the sounds and sensations that make up your environment. And then I want you to slowly begin to step that awareness inward, applying that same level of focus to your body and breath. Start to tune into all the subtle ways that your breath affects your body. Noticing how your body moves with your breath. The expansion and contraction, the rise and fall. I invite you to take these last few moments of stillness to place an intention for our class or to dedicate your practice, really just deciding where you'd like to lend your energy today. And allow that to stay with you throughout our practice, where you can draw strength or comfort from as we move through some of the more difficult postures. And then if you'd like to join me in chanting Om to open our class, slowly begin to exhale the air from your lungs. Inhale as you bring a breath in deeply. Om.
โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ Om. โอ
allowing your eyes to open. So preparing for our Nadi Shodhana, that alternate nostril breath that I spoke of, there's a lot of different ways to approach this. There are different mudras or hand positions that people use. I tend to shy away from that. I tend to go with like the hang loose fingers, because we just want to be able to block one nostril, you use the other one to breathe. So depending upon what that comfort is for you, using your dominant hand. Again, maybe it's just, your pointer and thumb, but however you choose. Like I said, there are different mudras and you'll see different techniques from other people, but for the sake of ease, we're going hang loose. All right, you might want to have a tissue handy. So pause the video, grab yourself a tissue, because it can definitely get the nostrils moving. All right, so we're going to start. I'm just going to I'm going to block my left nostril. And as I inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Out. 1, 2, 3. Switching sides. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Do 3 more rounds of this on your own. I switched it up there. I'm so used to doing the opposite nostril. So that was our warm-up. And I kind of gave you a preview as to what we're going to do next. So now we're going to begin to switch. Sorry, I kind of went into autopilot there. So again, we're going to start by blocking one of the nostrils. This time we're going to take the inhale, 1, 2, 3. Pause, block the opposite nostril. Exhale through. 1, 2, 3. So I'm inhaling through the left. 1, 2, 3, plug in the left, exhaling through the right. 1, 2, 3. So just following your breath, inhaling. Pause, exhaling from the opposite nostril. Let's do 3 more rounds. Now that you're kind of getting the hang of it, we're going to step that up one level. We're going to go to 5 seconds. Let's do 3 rounds of 5. And when you've completed your 3rd round, go ahead and let your hands settle down to your lap. Take a moment to be with your breath again, letting things balance back out. And that is a really great tool, not just with our practice, but in our lives. So take the time, throughout the week to really kind of get a mastery with this, and notice how you feel it affects your body. So not just the breath, but the changes that occur when we do it. All right, so let's move into our warm-up. I want you to start by slowly settling your chin into your chest. We're keeping that spine tall, shoulders are relaxed, and just actively releasing your head. Finding that length through your neck. Let it hang absolutely heavy. And now let's guide the right ear over towards the right shoulder. So we're just going to let the head hang heavy once more. And I invite you to extend your left arm out at an angle. You might have to kind of let this move your fingers in or out and wait till you find that sweet spot. For me, it's right about here where I really begin to open through the left side of my neck. And then I want you to drop your gaze to your right knee. So you're dipping your chin just slightly. And notice how that transitions the stretch in your body. And exhale, release your chin heavy to your chest. Let's take a little reset in the center here. And when you feel ready to transition, directing your left ear towards your left shoulder. This time we're extending the right arm out, letting the head hang heavy. And now dipping your chin ever so slightly, directing your gaze to your left knee. And as you exhale, returning your chin heavy to your chest. I want you to keep that sense of heaviness in your head. We're just going to do a little guiding it side to side, right ear to right shoulder, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. Taking these little quarter turns, lengthening through the sides of your neck. And in your next transition, return your chin heavy to your chest. And then we're going to inhale and sit up nice and tall. Let's keep the hands resting on the knees. And then I want you to slowly begin to draw your chest forward, giving yourself a moment to lengthen through your low back. And when you're ready, deep inhale, roll your torso out and around. So with these circles with the torso, we really want to bring as much movement as we can into the body. So we're also using the shoulders. I'm dipping down one shoulder, as it peels back, the next one drops in. Nice big circles. Sometimes it's fun to hang on to the knees and really get a deep round into the back. We just want to make sure we get some good lateral movement in the spine. And let's go ahead and switch directions. We're always trying to link the breath to the movement. So we're exhaling as your chest dips down, inhaling, rolling yourself back and around. One more time, up and around. If that doesn't make your day better, nothing will. All right, let's go ahead and bring the fingers up to shoulders now. And as you're drawing your next breath, I want you to lift your shoulders as high to your ears as you can. Exhale, we're going to round the back slightly, bring the elbows down towards each other, then pull the shoulder blades tight together, draw them up and around. Big exaggerated shrugs, really activating the back and chest again. And let's switch directions. Big inhale up. Lift those elbows high. Draw your shoulder blades tight together behind you. Try to massage your spine with your shoulder blades as you draw them down. One more time, up and around. All right. Give a couple little half shrugs if that feels good. Maybe a couple little turns with the neck. Just working through remaining tension and tightness. All right. Another big inhale as we draw the arms high overhead. Go ahead and grab onto your right wrist. I want you to find as much length as you can through your right side. And as you exhale, it's just a small little dip over to the left we're taking here. So I'm trying to keep my weight even between my sits bones. Focus more on lengthening and less on bending. Opening through that right side body. And let's bring that back into center. Switching sides, find your length with your inhale. Deepen the stretch with your exhale, coming into that little bit of space you created on the right there. And bring it back to center. Let's let the arms fall out wide, rolling the shoulders down, but reaching the fingers up. One more deep inhale as we lengthen. Exhale, we're coming into a spinal twist. Right hand settles on your left knee. Left hand plants behind your glutes. Let's keep that nice tall spine as you turn to the left. On your inhale, I want you to bring it back to center, arms overhead. And exhale as we switch sides. Let's inhale back to center, arms overhead. Bring the palms together. Exhale, let's draw them down to heart center. So it's really quick, just talk about a spinal twist. What tends to happen is we often twist like someone's asked us a question behind us. We lift our chin and we turn our shoulders, but a true spinal twist begins at the waist. So as we turn, you can try one of these with me. Start turning at your waist, then your stomach, then your chest, then we turn the shoulders. You're turning your chin. I even want you to look out the corner of your eye. Use that peripheral vision to help guide your body around. See how that really brings a full body twist in as we exercise. All right, let's go ahead and bring it into table pose. Coming to hands and knees. Making sure that we have the shoulders stacked directly over the wrists, the hips over the knees. And let's take a moment and kind of move through cat and cow. So inhale, rock your pelvis floor, fill your belly with breath, and look up to where the ceiling meets the wall. And while the gaze may seem unimportant, really directing your gaze upward brings that deep stretch into your low back. Let's exhale. We're going to take this into cat pose. Start to round your spine, rock your pelvis outward. We're lifting up and tucking that chin into your chest. Pull your navel towards your spine. And then I just want you to slowly transition between the two. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. And let that pelvic tilt initiate each movement. Let's go one more time each direction. And I want you to return to a neutral spine. And as you bring in your next breath, I want you to lift your right leg up. Go ahead and step it over to the left, just off to the side of your mat. You're landing on the ball of your foot. And look over your left shoulder to your right foot. Just a gentle little hip stretch here. And let's inhale and bring it back to center. Switching sides, left leg rises, step to the right, and exhale as you turn to look at your toes. Let's inhale and bring that back to table. All right, so coming into our next twist, remember we're going to be doing a lot of twists today. I want you to go ahead and extend your left arm out, and as you exhale, we're going to thread it under the torso. Go ahead and land onto your shoulder. Take a little time to breathe here. If this feels good, this is great. It's a great shoulder stretch. If you'd like to make it a little more challenging, you're welcome to extend your right arm toward the ceiling. You can even drop it behind your back, coming into a little bit of like a half bind here. I really like the option of reaching for the ceiling. It just helps present a more open chest for me. Let's go ahead and bring that right palm back to the mat. And as you inhale, I want you to slowly unwind, open through the left side of your body. Reach your left arm for the ceiling. And exhale, let's release it back to the mat. Switching sides, we're going to extend the right arm straight out. Exhale, we're going to tuck it under. Landing on your shoulder, letting your head rest on the mat. And again, we can stay here.
Or if you'd like, you can extend that left arm up or drop it behind the back. Let's bring the left palm back to the mat. Inhale, we're going to unwind, open through the right, reach that right arm for the ceiling. And exhale, release. Let's bring it back to the mat. And then we're just going to sit back into child's pose. So just dropping your hips towards your heels, or extended child's pose. We're going to have the arms long, forehead resting to the mat. And this is no place to be stagnant. Let's allow the movement that naturally occurs with your breath. Let your hips rise and fall with the inhale and exhale. And with each exhale, see if you can settle just a little closer to the heels. And I want you to spread your fingers wide out in front of you. Tuck your toes under behind you. And as you exhale, let's send the hips back to our first down dog. And this being our first down dog, let's really take our time with it. We're just going to pedal it out a little, maybe shifting the hips side to side. But we're just going to allow you to settle a little deeper, working into those spots of tension and tightness, probably the hamstrings and the calves. All right, let's let those heels settle. And I want you to actually bring a deep bend into your knees, pull your stomach up onto your thighs, let your head pass through your arms a little, rock your pelvis forward, tilt your tailbone up, pressing back and out of the palms. And now start to walk your hands back towards your feet. We're gonna come into a forward fold. When you arrive, I want you to grab up at opposite elbows. We're gonna keep this sense of heaviness and add a gentle little swaying motion. We wanna make sure we keep the knees soft here. Don't lock out the joint when we're bringing in side-to-side motion like this. And try to let go of any remaining tension in the low back and legs as we gently sway side to side. Let's slow that swaying back to center. Release your fingertips down towards your toes. Bring that small bend into the knees. Big inhales, we sweep the arms up and around. When your palms meet, we're gonna exhale. Draw them down to your heart center. Roll those shoulders forward, together and down. Fantastic. All right, so we're gonna be moving to the forward section of our mat here. And we wanna come into that Ujjayi breath. Remember, this is that slow and controlled breath, in and out of the nose. Taking the time to find the weight between your feet. Remembering all good yoga postures are built from the ground up and the inside out. So let's start by letting the toes rise and fall. Find the weight evenly between your feet, coming into your stabilizing muscles. Let's come to the thighs, the glutes, the core, lifting up to your sternum, lengthening through the crown of your head. Shoulders are forward, together, and down. Now go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. Press those thumbs firmly into your sternum. Continue to lengthen through the crown of your head. I want you to inhale and sweep your arms high overhead. We're coming to extended mount, so the shoulders are rolling down, the fingers are reaching up. And as you exhale, I want you to slowly sink into chair pose. We're just dropping the glutes out beyond the heels, making that nice little lightning bolt shape with our body. Exhale, let's bring it into a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Drawing those shoulders down, pushing your glutes out beyond your heels and lengthening through the crown of your head. And depending upon your flexibility, this can come all the way down to the ground as long as we're not compromising posture. And let's exhale, step this back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, I want you to go ahead and lift your right leg straight up, coming into our three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, step it through. We're coming into that low lunge. I want you to go ahead and drop your left heel. And as you inhale, let's bring this up into warrior one. So the thing about warrior one is we want to make sure that we get the hips squared off toward the front. And sometimes this means shortening the stance or widening the stance. So take the time to check in with your body. Make sure we have a nice firm footing. Make sure we're not collapsing into that back arch. We're rooting through the outside edge of that left foot. Arms are up, shoulders are down. Stay with your Ujjayi breath. I want you to go ahead and let your heel leave the ground, coming into a lunge. So keep that back leg long and strong. I want you to bend into your elbows, draw those shoulders together. Relax your head and draw your gaze toward the ceiling. Release your jaw. Exhale, let's start to draw it forward. Bring your stomach right up onto your thighs, still actively pulling your shoulder blades together behind you. Exhale, we're going to release down to a lunge. I want you to step your right foot back to meet your left. So we're in our high plank pose, pushing off the toes, leading with your chest. Exhale through chaturanga. We're going to bring it all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet touch down. And we're going to play with our cobra pose to begin with. So I want you to pick your palms up from the ground, and we're just going to do the little no hands cobra. So we're going to inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower the palms. So just follow your breath, bobbing back and forth, or up and down. Take as many as you like at a pace that works for you. And when you're ever at, let's let the palms settle in. And not only does that build core strength, but it really shines a light on which muscles are needed for our cobra pose. So not letting your palms do all the work and all the lifting. Use those same muscles you were just using to lift your chest. Plant the palms, elbows stay tucked in. Inhale, come up into cobra pose. Remember with cobra, the arms aren't straight. We're not trying to compress that low spine. So I've got a nice bend in the elbows tucked into my rib cage, lifting up through my chest. Exhale, go ahead and return yourself back to the mat. Tuck those toes, send your hips back to down dog. Inhale as the left leg rises, three-legged down dog. Exhale, we're gonna step between the hands for that lunge. Go ahead and drop the right heel. Big inhale, bring it up into warrior one. Take your time to find a firm footing. Staying with that Ujjayi breath. Remembering each exhale gives us a chance to refine the posture. As we inhale, we can lift out a little. And as we exhale, we can settle a little deeper. Always refining. And we're going to go ahead and lift that right heel up off the mat. We're going to bend into our elbows, draw the shoulder blades together. Bring your gaze up toward the ceiling. Exhale, start to draw the chest forward. And release. Palms come down to the mat. Left foot steps back to meet your right. We're not high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Let's lower all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet touch down. Palms pick up. Let's bob with our breath through a no hands cobra. Let's take one more. Let those palms settle in. Elbows stay tucked into your rib cage. Nice bend in the elbows as we lift the chest. Exhale, relax your chest back to the mat. Tuck the toes, hips return to down dog. As you inhale, I want you to draw your gaze forward. Exhale, we're going to sink into the balls of the feet. And you can either walk, hop, or step forward to meet your hands. Inhaling halfway. Exhale to drop your glutes. Inhale to sweep your arms back up into chair. Remembering the chair pose, we want to make sure we can still lift those toes up off the mat. We're not bringing all the weight forward. It's evenly between either side of the ball on both sides of the hill. Looking for 4 points of contact on each foot. Let's inhale and rise back into extended mountain. Palms draw together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. Let's take a big inhale and sweep the arms back overhead. This time when the palms meet, I want you to exhale and swan dive. Hinge from the hips. Reach the crown of your head toward the floor. Inhale, I want you to rise halfway. Exhale, we're going to step back to down dog. Inhale as your right leg rises for three-legged down dog. Exhale, step between your hands for a lunge. Drop that left heel. Inhale, rise. We're coming right back into our warrior one. Inhale, small lift. Exhale, square the hips off. We're coming into warrior two. And with warrior two, we're trying to keep that crown of the head stacked right over the tailbone. Nice healthy bend in the front knee without extending past the ankle. Keeping the weight to the outside edge of your back foot. Small little kick on it to help take some pressure from the knee. Shoulders rolling forward together and down. Reaching equally backwards and forwards. Gaze is over the middle finger. Let's go ahead and turn the right palm up toward the ceiling. I always like to bring my left arm behind my back for a half bind. Keeps the hips squared. Inhale, bring that into reverse warrior. Drawing the gaze upward, trying to keep the chest squared off, really opening through those right side ribs. Exhale, we're going to bring this into an extended side angle. So the right arm rests to the right knee. Left arm reaches at an angle. So if you'll notice, I have this straight line of energy coming from my heel all the way out through my fingertips. So we don't want to push the hip out for length. We want to lengthen. And flexibility allows, again, you're welcome to bring the palm to the floor. But a lot of times when people come there, they tend to sacrifice the posture to touch the ground. I'd rather see that straight line of energy from your fingertips all the way down through your heel. Let's bring the arms back into warrior two. Coming back into that front knee, stacking your head over your crown bone. Your tailbone. Now we're going to lengthen through the front leg, and we want to keep that micro bend in the knee. So don't lock out the joint. Keep that small little bend in there. Let's shift the left hip back, right hand forward. Exhale, we're going to bring that into triangle pose. Right hand reaches for the ground, left arm reaches for the sky. Bend back into your right knee, arms return to warrior two. And this next transition is a little more tricky, so we're going to bring this into a lunge. You're going to start to roll your hips forward, arms come overhead. We're going to come up onto the ball of the left foot. And I want you to add a small little crescent shape to that lunge. So lifting up through your chest, directing your gaze toward the ceiling. Just a small little crescent shape we're adding. Then I want you to use your left foot like a spring. We're going to step that right back into mountain pose. Taking a moment to settle back into your posture. Reconnecting with your breath. On your next inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, we're going to swan dive. Inhale, I want you to rise halfway. Exhale, step back to down dog. Inhale as the left leg rises, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step between the hands, low lunge. Drop that right heel. Inhale and rise. Be powerful with your breath as you come into warrior one. Find that nice firm footing. Inhale, let's take a small lift. Exhale, settle those hips into warrior two. I just spun around there for a transition, but you're still going to be facing the same way. Let's turn the left palm to the ceiling, right arm behind the back, half bind. Inhale, scoop up into that reverse warrior. Exhale, bring it into an extended side angle. Inhale, arms return to warrior two. Lengthen through your front leg, right hip back, left hand forward. Let's exhale down to triangle pose. Bend back into your left knee, arms return to warrior two. Inhale, let's roll the hips around, arms overhead. We're coming into that lunge. Keep the back leg long and strong. And then drawing your gaze upward, just bringing a small little crescent shape into the lunge. Try to relax your jaw. And let's step that forward, coming back into our mountain pose. All right, fantastic job. Nice spring flow. Now we're going to come into goddess pose. So I want you to step sideways on your mat. This is where really, like I said, we're focusing largely on the meridians that run on the inside and the outside of your leg. So this is going to be a leg intensive class. So let's go ahead and step it out wide. So for me, this is, if you'll notice, I'm just maybe slightly wider than my shoulders, with my knees, and then coming out at an angle. The big indicator is, are you still able to hold that weight in the outside edges of your foot and keep your arches lifted? If you start to collapse into the arches, you stepped out a little bit too wide. So let's bring hands to hips, engage the core, and as you exhale, start to send your glutes out beyond your heels. Bring your chest parallel to the ground. Then I want you to release your fingers to the floor. And you're welcome to hang here, or if you'd like, you can walk your hands back behind you through your legs. That's really going to bring that stretch into the hamstrings. And walk the hands forward. Bring the right palm to the floor. We're trying to stack it directly underneath your wrist. And as you inhale, I want you to open through your left side, reaching that left arm for the ceiling. And exhale, release. Left palm under left shoulder. Inhale as you open through the right. Getting another nice little twist for our spring flow. Exhale, right palm comes to the floor. Let's walk the hands back a little, return the hands to your hips. It's important we engage the core here. Let those abdominal muscles lift your chest. Don't let your low back do all the work. Fantastic. Now we're just going to pivot on the heels. So you're bringing your feet out to about a 45-degree angle. You may want to shorten your stance just a little because we are going to be lifting up those heels in this goddess pose. Settling in, big inhale. Let's really expand the chest with the breath. Let the palms meet above your head. Exhale as we bring them to heart center. We're going to bend into the knees and come into a squat. And I want you to draw your arms out to either side. Spread those fingers out nice and wide. And you're welcome to stay here. I mean, you're doing a lot of work if you're here. If you want to, let's go ahead and lift up those heels. Remember, it's important we stay with the breath here. Okay, heels lower, hands come to heart center. Let's lengthen through the legs. Take another big inhale. We're going to scoop up and around. When the palms meet, exhale, let's bring it in, coming into our squat. Shoulders draw out, fingers spread wide. And the option to rise. Let those heels leave the ground. Heels down, heart center. Rise. Whew, here we go. One more time. Big inhale up. Slow exhale down. Arms out and rise. If you want to make this a little more difficult, go ahead and bring your pointer and thumb together. And as you exhale, let's go right elbow, right knee. Back to center. Left elbow, left knee. Back to center, fingers spread out, heels down, heart center. Let's step it in and shake it out. Whew. That can be really intense. All right, we're gonna do one standing bounce posture. So we are gonna do eagle pose. And I will warn you in advance, eagle pose is like my nemesis posture. But it's really good, as we talked about coming into the organs, so it's a little bit of a forward fold, so we're gonna be crunching in. And we're definitely going to be stimulating those meridian lines. So while my eagle pose is not, 100%, I still have a fairly decent one. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so this is a posture I have fought for years. All right, so starting in mountain pose, hands drawn to heart center. Taking a moment to come into your stabilizing muscles, thighs, glutes, core, lifting through the sternum, reaching through the crown of the head. I want you to start by lifting your left knee just straight up. Then we're going to intersect at the knees. If it's within your flexibility, you're going to tuck your foot behind your calf. We're going to bring those arms out. And as you exhale, bring them back to center. I want the right elbow underneath the left, palms drawing as close together as is comfortable. I know this is a really difficult part for a lot of people. Let's lift those elbows up a little bit, and we're going to bend into the standing leg. Stay with your breath. Slowly unwind the arms, uncross your leg. Give that right ankle a little love. Shake it out, roll it out. All right, that was my strong side. We'll see how we do on the other one here. Coming back into mountain, hands drawing to heart center. This time the left knee rises, crossing at the knees, if possible, tucking your left foot behind your calf. Let's bring the arms out wide. This time as we draw them back to center, left elbow crosses underneath the right, elbows rise, and we sink into that standing leg. So oftentimes, my foot comes untucked. I'm a little tighter on this hip than I am the other one. This is where this posture gets a little difficult for me. That, and I'm also kind of stocky with big arms. This part can be a little challenging as well. But that's why we call it a yoga practice. We just keep coming back to the postures and working at them the best that we can. So be happy with where you're at today. And let's slowly unwind, uncross,
Shake it out. I'm sure you did a fantastic job. Like I said, that was definitely one of the more challenging postures I have in my practice. Let's bring it on down to the mat. And we're really going to focus on some forward folds coming back into the legs. We're going to start with cobbler's pose. So let's bring the soles of the feet together, sitting to a tall spine. Take a big inhale and find some length. And as you exhale, start to work your chest forward. And we want to do this out rounding the spine. So I'm keeping my spine nice and tall, drawing it forward. And play with your exhale. There's usually another inch hiding in your exhale. So when you feel like you've settled into the place, see if you can clear a little more air and come just a little bit closer. And you can also play with where your heels are. Obviously, the closer to your groin they are, the more difficult this is going to be. The further away is going to allow you to come just a little bit deeper. And inhale as you rise. Nice job. Go ahead and extend your right leg out. Bring the left sole of your foot into your thigh. And instead of having your foot straight on, I want you to kick it out to the side a little bit. Think about how your hips are built. It's hard to come into a forward fold. We're actually restricting ourselves by having the leg straight. So if it's slightly out to the side, it's going to allow us to come a bit more naturally into it. So as you inhale, I want you to lift up. Exhale, slow and controlled. We're just going to come for the toes. And if your hands don't meet your toes, that's fine. Grab onto your calf, your ankle, wherever your hands naturally land. And remember, we're not trying to round the spine. We're keeping that tall spine as we pull ourselves forward. Try to reach equally through your arms. And inhale, rise. Palms meet. Exhale, heart center. Let's switch it up. Find that weight between your sits bones. Sometimes you have to kind of maybe reach in and adjust the flesh. Big inhale up. Slow exhale as we hinge. And if this is really difficult to you, that's okay. Forward folds have always been very difficult for me. But as I mentioned a moment ago, there's a reason we call it a yoga practice. We keep coming back to the mat, noticing those incremental changes in our body. The reason it works is that it is a slow process. So the fact that I can even touch my toes makes me so happy, because that was not always the case. So be kind to your body. I want you to say nice, positive things to yourself. Don't get frustrated in your practice. Just observe the subtle changes that happen. And inhale, let's rise. And we're going to extend the right leg out to meet the left. Big inhale as we sweep the arms up. Exhale as we reach. And see if you can pull a little length out of your legs. Don't let your back do all of the work here. I'm actually pulling length from my hamstrings through my glutes, giving myself a little extra room to come into this. And again, there's also the option just to grab up onto your ankles. You can actually get just as deep of a stretch, maybe even deeper, by not reaching for the toes, but letting your arms settle where they naturally do and pulling your chest a little bit more forward.
And as you inhale, arms overhead, exhale, hands to heart center. Nice work. Let's go ahead and make our way onto our backs. So we're going to keep that left leg long. The right knee is bent as you come onto your back. We're setting up for a supine spinal twist, but let's start by just first surrendering that right knee into your chest. Let your eyes close if that feels good. With each exhale, we're settling a little deeper. And when you feel completely relaxed, you can let your right arm fall off to the side. We're going to use this left hand to guide the right knee across the body towards the ground, coming into a spinal twist. I want to try to keep that right shoulder rooted on the mat. I always find if I stare at my right hand, that really helps keep my shoulder rooted into place. Let's inhale and bring that back to center. Switching sides, left knee bends, right leg long. Exhale as your left knee draws into your chest. And when you're ready, opening to a spinal twist in the opposite direction. And inhale, bring it back to center. When your left foot steps down, go ahead and step your right foot up to meet it so both knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the floor. Then I want you to walk your feet out all the way to the outer edges of your mat. And then let both knees dip off to the left, coming onto the sides of your feet. And slowly transition to the right. It's just a gentle little hip opener, working into that ball and socket joint. So at your own pace, just gently windshield wipe your knees back and forth. And then your next transition, let's bring it back to center. I want you to bring both knees into your chest. We're just going to take a gentle little rocking side to side here, massaging out your spine. Let's bring that back into center. Place your hands on top of your knees and let your legs fall out as wide as the length of your arms allows. Notice that word that brings the weight. For me, it's about my sacrum. So try to keep the weight there as you begin to guide your knees up and around. So I'm doing big circles with my knees, tracing small circles with my low back on the mat. And you can switch directions as often as you like, or really just whenever it feels good. You could even try a little bit of a bicycle option, lifting one knee as you drop the opposite hip. Now let's go ahead and return the soles of the feet to the floor. And we're going to come into happy baby pose. So I want you to keep that bend in your knees, soles of the feet to the ceiling. And you want to either grab up onto the ball of your foot or onto your heel. Don't be pulling into that soft tissue in your arch. I want to try to keep the knees at 90 degrees. They pull toward the ground. And then the hard part, as soon as you lift your legs, your low back rounds. So try to neutralize your low back. Work your sacrum and tailbone back towards the ground. as you actively draw your knees down. Now bring the soles of your feet together. Let your arms fall out wide. Relax the sides of your feet to the floor. Just letting your knees hang open wide. And we don't want to try to force the knees here. Allow gravity to do all the work for us. But again, we're getting that stretch right through that meridian that runs along the inside of your leg. Now slowly draw your knees together. I want you to cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee. Go ahead and reach back and grab your left hamstring. As you exhale, draw that left knee into your chest. This is just a reclined version of pigeon, which again, really good for coming into those meridian lines. You should be in your right leg, both getting it on the inside and the outside. And release. Let's switch sides. Left ankle crosses. I want to make sure we do this with the foot is flexed. Pull your toes towards your knees so we can really protect this joint. Reach back and grab your right hamstring. Exhale, bring the knee towards your chest. And release, uncrossing. All right, we are going to do bridge pose, and then we'll settle in for a very well-earned Shavasana. So for bridge, let's bring the heels just a little closer to the glutes, stepping out slightly wider than your hips. Bring that weight into your heels and shoulders, engage your abdominal muscles, and go ahead and lift up. So for me, I always like to walk my shoulder blades under. It gives me a nice, firm foundation. I know some people like to stack palms and press into the floor. It's really whatever works best in your body. Remember to breathe. It's really easy to clench your jaw and restrain your breath when you're in this posture. Try to let your breath flow freely. As you exhale, let's lower it down, but just take it one vertebrae at a time. Try to lower your spine, slow and controlled, letting your low back meet the mat last. And when it does, let's inhale and lift right back up. Exhale as you ease your spine back to the mat. And one last time, let's inhale and rise. And exhale, release. As we settle in for Shavasana, I want you to start by just extending your legs out long. Slightly wider than your hips, your feet can comfortably fall out to the sides. Arms are along your sides, palms facing up, settling towards the mat. I'd like for you to stay in this position as I begin to guide you through some body sensing. So with each exhale, go ahead and release just a little more weight towards the mat. And when you feel completely relaxed into place, I want you to bring a little movement into your jaw. Just a gentle shifting side to side. Let go of any tension that may be stored there. Now release your jaw and bring that awareness to your eyes. Allow them to get heavy as they sink deep to the socket. Soften your brow. Now relax the space between your eyes. And allow for that deep sense of relaxation to begin making its way down through your neck and shoulders, into your biceps and elbows, your forearms and wrists, your hands and all 10 fingers completely relaxed. Let your chest and stomach feel the same deep sense of relaxation. Allow your breath to be effortless. Let your hips get a little heavier, releasing more of your weight towards the earth. Relax your hamstrings and your thighs, your knees, calves and shins completely relaxed. And lastly, bringing that deep sense of calm and complete relaxation to your ankles, your feet, all 10 toes. Now begin to bring some awareness back into your body. Taking these first few moments just to reconnect with your breath. And as you're ready, start to introduce some small movements back into your fingers and toes, letting your body awaken gradually.
And on your next deep inhale, go ahead and extend your arms long overhead. Get that stretch. Go ahead and step your legs together, reaching from your fingertips down to your toes. And when you're ready, exhale and bring those knees into your chest. Go ahead and rock side to side. Give yourself one last little spinal massage as we close our class. Now making your way off to your right, give yourself a moment there in fetal position. And then pressing your palms into the floor, slowly bring yourself back to a comfortable seated position. And we're going to close our class by chanting a single Om. If you'd like to join me, slowly begin to exhale the air from your lungs. Inhale deeply. Let's take one more big inhale together, drawing the arms overhead. And as your palms meet, exhale and bring them to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this spring flow. Now get out there and enjoy this beautiful weather.